I've been growing algae in hanging bags for the last month. But what if I could make those bags bigger? Hey, I'm William, and I'm once again experimenting with microalgae. These are the hanging bags that I've been using to grow algae for the past month. They're 1 liter used IV bags that I was able to get from a local hospital. But I was always wondering if I could make this process bigger. And now I have a way to do that. Because this is a 5 liter dialysis bag. And it's basically just going to let me scale up this experiment to grow hopefully 25 liters of algae at once. But this bag isn't just bigger, it also has some pretty cool valve features. Mostly the fact that it has 2 ends. My current bags only have 1 end, which I use to funnel air and water in at the same time. And then I had to poke a hole in the top to make sure the air can get out. And that's not a great system, it works, but it could be better. And well, this is better. It's got 2 ends, tube on this side and on this side. And both can be easily sealed, which means that I can feed air in from one side and let it escape out the other end, as well as fill the bag a lot easier. Now obviously this bag isn't that interesting when it's completely empty, so let's go fill this thing up with water. And the bag is all filled up. So let's go give it a test. And here we are. I've set up the big hanging bag with these 2 hangers. And now I'm going to attach some of the air tubing. So I'm going to take this air bubbler line over here and plug it in to the bottom of the bag. And then I'm going to switch on my air bubbler. And as you can see, the other bags are getting bubbled right now. I'm going to open the valve on this one. And there we go. There are bubbles going into the bag. But as you might have noticed, that bag is getting bigger, and it's starting to bulge outward. And that's because if we add more air and don't let any of it out, one of 2 things will happen. Either the air will stop going in eventually, or the bag will explode. And both of those are bad. So fortunately, there is an opening tube on the top of this bag that I can open to let all the air out, and keep a continuous flow of air all the way through the bag. And now the bubbles will be able to go all the way through the bag and safely out that end. So now the bag's been set up, I'm going to test them out with some algae. These algae, to be specific. Now, these aren't live algae, they're dead algae from an old culture, but they're nice and green, which means we'll be able to see how the algae circulate in the bag, which is really important because the algae need to be well mixed throughout the bag to make sure that they grow properly. So I'm going to dump these guys in and we're going to watch them work. So there we go, the bag is now nice and green, and as you can see, the bubbles are starting to disperse the algae throughout the water, which is essentially what we want, because the more the algae are mixed, the more they'll have access to sunlight that's coming from that window over there, which is blind right now, but we'll have sunlight coming through it later on. So as long as the bubbles are able to properly mix the algae, which I'll check over the next few days, everything should be good, and I should be able to use this 5 liter bag for my next run of this experiment. Now admittedly, that will take a little bit of setup, because filling a 5 liter bag with algae requires quite a lot of starter algae, what's called a seed culture. For a bag of this size, I'm going to need 200 milliliters of seed culture, which are just concentrated algae that I can use to start up the larger culture over here. That means that for 5 of these bags, I'm going to need a whole liter of seed culture. So it's going to take a while to grow the algae up to do that. But hopefully my next run, or potentially the run after that, will be run with these 5 liter bags. So there we go. I've set up the bigger bags, and I should be able to experiment with them pretty soon. Now, if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow on LinkedIn, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.